History, Herstory. John Irving, the first convict to be pardoned. After larceny, the hulks. Transportation on the First Fleet, Sydney Cove, a full pardon, Norfolk Island and Parramatta. Females, on the Scarborough, the Prince of Wales. Sick, got a few, through. West side of Sydney Cove, scurvy, dysentery, brewing tea from native plants, making do for a couple of years. Someone must have had a word with Philip, off to Norfolk Island on the Sirius with that full pardon and Captain Hunter, who ripped the bottom out of her at Cape Good, flying through the tempest seas on a grating, landed, dried his clothes soon enough. There was plenty of work, good for the record. Recalled, Parramatta, settling. Commended for a post-mortem on a partially blind man stabbed by a butcher, his mate. Dead. A couple of days later the order came through to pay him £100. Dorothy Parker. Wit. Pushed off to Europe. Guess who's unboring? Marlena Dietrich. Guess who's not? My trunk. Spain. Throwing the portable typewriter she'd just bought down to Ernest, standing on the wharf when he shouted up he didn't have one. And Switzerland. Montana Thermala. A sanatorium in which the Murphys had generously installed a bar to brighten up the place where their son was dying. Dorothy came to help, patting the back of Sarah's hand. I hate society too. And really, she was pretty good, down to her whiskey sour for breakfast. Waving gaily from the bar. Sweets for the sweet. Wine with lunch, 2 or 3 martinis, and cognac swirling with the Murphys after dinner. Dow. Look, Mrs. Parker's a gypsy. Sarah. Tell us our fortunes. Oh, do, Dorothy. Cross my palm with gold. Gerald tossed her his lighter, which she carefully inspected, lit a cigarette with, and placed in her pocketbook with her own. Then inhaled and said, Now let me see. I see a spring, a summer, and a fall. And so it was. Switzerland. God, it was boring. Switzerland for a spring, a summer, and a fall. She'd even been glad to see Scott Fitzgerald when he turned up. Really, Dorothy was very good. The doctor would talk to her. That was how they'd come to know, and she was always so neat with her little black dresses and diamond clips. Sarah had to send off to Paris for some more underwear and for that book Dorothy had talked about when the food was so terrible that night. And she'd walk with Patrick in the wood. Sitting, writing to Mr. Benchley on her beautiful stationery. Sarah. Oh, let me see, Dorothy, please. You must write such wonderful letters to him. Mountains, mountains, everywhere. How I long for coasts. Mountains, mountains, all around. I cannot leave my hosts. And later, along the terrace. Much later, Sarah confessed when asked what Dorothy Parker was really like. She's really very practical. She helped us, Gerald and I, to make all sorts of arrangements. Do you know, we discussed giving her, but Dada said, why don't we just thank her? Somebody heard her quote a line in the Wordsworth room at Scott Fitzgerald's funeral, to which nobody went. She stood there for a while in her little black dress, looking at the pickled body before tossing her wreath. The poor son of a bitch. Allies at a funeral. Later still, her play failed. It was the only thing I ever did that I was proud of. And she left what she had to the Association for the Advancement of Coloured People.